just wanted to take a quick minute to tell you how you can get almost $250 worth of free bonuses that will teach you how to improve your desire, how to have more libido, how to get the right tests done to figure out the root causes of low libido from a physical perspective. This is for men and women. And you do this by pre-ordering a copy of my book. My book is coming out in late fall. Projected date is November 1st. And in my book, we're going to talk about all sorts of physical root causes for low libido, how to help pelvic pain, how to help erectile dysfunction, how to help vaginal dryness, how to do this together in your partnerships, and so much more. And when you pre-order a copy, I am giving you almost $250 worth of bonuses right away for your support. So to get that, you simply go to wanttowantit.com or look in the show notes for that direct link. So wanttowantit.com, the name of my book. Now back to our show. Hey everybody, Dr. Diane here, your libido doc. I'm talking today about exploring self-pleasure while being faith-based or while having a level of shame around your sexuality or around having sex or around self-pleasuring. And this is a topic near and dear to my heart. I was raised incredibly faith-based and had a lot of shame in regards to my own sexuality and my own self-pleasure. And beginning around the age of 20, when I decided to have self-pleasure for the first time, and I was having a lot of vulvar pain at the time, and I was finding that through this exercise, I was actually eliminating my pain without any medical intervention. Doctors actually didn't know what was wrong with me back then. All lab tests were normal. And it started sending me into this world of, if this is bad, if there's part of my body that is bad, why would God, why would spirit, why would anybody, whatever anybody wants to call this energy, why would I have this part of my body that was designed to help me heal, that was designed to get me out of pain, that was designed to experience pleasure, if it was bad? So I started shifting my beliefs around this. And it's a really important thing because I do find that many people, through a lot of different reasons, whether it's through faith, whether it is through certain things that people say, sometimes just as simple as how we learned about sex or what our parents said. And, when we're a kid, right? Like, kids obviously don't have the same level of understanding as adults. So sometimes parents will say things not understanding the impact of, like, don't touch yourself down there, or that's for adults, or, that's not good, or whatever it is. And we can create these stories about ourselves, these stories about our sexuality, and a lot of people will carry sexual shame around this. So it is interesting to know that certain surveys have showed that 70 to 90% of adults wind up engaging in a self-pleasure activity. And the reason this is so important for marriage is because what we see is so many people so often do not wind up having amazing sex, do not wind up having fulfilling sex, and their partnerships are impacted because they don't know their own body. I was on a walk this weekend with my partner, and he and I were talking about the number of times women fake orgasm. And it's estimated that only 18 to 30% of women can have orgasms by penetrative sex alone. That most women do need a level of clitoral stimulation, for example, at the same time, or they need to be changing their positions, right? That for many women, a lot of the standard positions are not hitting their juicy spots. And that can be a reason this is not happening. So there's a lot of different reasons for why many women do not have orgasms with penetrative sex alone. But unfortunately, what's happened so often is we glorify in our society, we elevate that penetrative sex is the, say, superior way of making love, and that there's this pressure that I've seen on men where it's like so many men that are amazing, like the masculine that I just love, this quality of the masculine, that this desire to provide this immense amount of pleasure for their partner. So there can be a lot of this pressure and this feeling of like, if it's not my cock, if it's not this part of my body that is providing this pleasure, then maybe. If you haven't taken a minute yet to go to wanttowantit.com to get your bonuses, almost $250 worth of free bonuses for pre-ordering my book, I recommend you do that now. We're going to go through so many reasons and so many solutions to fixing low libido for both men and women. It is action-packed with solutions from supplements to diet to lifestyle to lab tests you should talk to your doctor about to physical routines you can change. So many things designed to help support estrogen and testosterone and circulation and erectile dysfunction, vaginal dryness, so much more. So if you go to wanttowantit.com, you can find that book for pre-order, and you can also then take advantage of the almost $250 worth of bonuses I am giving away for pre-order that will not be available for long. Now let's get back to our episode. There's this feeling for men of not being enough or not being able to provide that, and that can make them feel bad, and women know this, right? It's really obvious to a lot of women that, hey, if I'm not reaching climax, if I'm not reaching this, say, heightened feeling because of the way we're having this penetrative intimacy, then there's many women that might feel that they need to fake it because they want their partner, they want their husband, they want their lover to feel that they are providing this immense amount of pleasure. So there's all this like hidden stuff that's happening. And the more that we can know our own body and start to get the shame out of it, the better that we can actually explore this together. So another way of self-framing this, if there's any shame here, is like, I'm exploring my body with respect, or I'm nurturing my God-given capacity for joy, right? And many times we can say, hey, what if we start to shift some away from this shame that's happened because of whatever has put this shame on us, oftentimes, like I said, in childhood. But what if we actually start to shift this and say, hey, what I'm actually doing is I'm honoring the body. I'm honoring the body that God, that spirit, that energy gave me. And I'm celebrating how to bring more joy into my long-term relationship, right? What if we do that? And we can start to play with, okay, it's okay if I feel conflicted, but here's how I'm actually going into this now with more love. Another way that if people are having a hard time with bringing in self-pleasure, and again, the point is that there's many points, but one of the points is that if we begin to explore and understand our body more, then we can bring that into our partner and say, hey, a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, or I need to be stimulated this way. But another way we can bring this in, if you're like, hey, I just can't even go there, another way you can bring some of this idea in is in partner play. If you're a woman, put your partner's hand on top of your hand and together explore what it's like to be touched in these different ways. You know, what it's like if the hand moves faster or slower, up or down. What it's like if this part of your anatomy gets stroked or caressed in a different way, right? So that's ways we can bring this in. And the more we begin to do this, the more we can start to close that climax gap, right? The more we can start to say, oh, this is how we work with this. And I think this is important too, because there's this huge gap, right, between when men reach their height of pleasure and when women reach their height of pleasure. And when there's this huge gap, one of the things that it creates oftentimes is most commonly the man having these heightened experiences of pleasure more often than the female. And I hate to say this, but that's like very uninspiring oftentimes over time for women. And so what can happen, and one of the things that can lead to, hey, she's not that interested in this anymore, is an element of feeling like that pleasure is not about her. And so we have to start learning this together and realize this is oftentimes due to not anybody doing anything wrong. Nobody is doing anything wrong here. We just haven't figured out how to communicate and how to explore this together. And we've been lied to about fake ways and false ways of the female and male systems and the arousal systems and the intimacy systems. We've been lied to about how they are, so similar, and they're actually quite different. So I encourage you to start exploring your body with respect if you're not doing this already, and really nurturing your capacity for, God-given, spirit-given, energy-given, whatever word you want to use there, joy, because this can really work to save a lot of relationships when we bring this back in. All right, everybody, please do subscribe to my channel to get more information like this. Ciao for now.